with Jeff Snyder.
What's the deal with Robert Pattinson? Is the Twilight heartthrob a real actor who's here to stay? After seeing David Michôd's slow burn thriller The Rover on Thursday night, I'd have to say so. Before The Rover, I'd actually only seen two Pattinson picks, Water for Elephants and Cosmopolis. I actually happen to really enjoy Water for Elephants, which was a fairly difficult role for Rob to pull off, though I did not care for Cosmopolis, and I made it a point to skip his indies like Little Ashes and Remember Me and Bellamy. My point is I don't really have a strong opinion either way regarding Rob's acting abilities until last night, that is. So I was very impressed with Mr. Pattinson in The Rover. If you're like me and you hadn't seen him in the Twilight movies, you'd never know that he was a big movie star watching him in this movie. He just totally strips away his vanity. He embraces his dim-witted character's facial tics, and you can actually see him kind of struggle to find the words, to properly express himself to his traveling companion, played by Guy Pearce, who's, playing a man of few words himself. Pattinson plays Ray, who's a bit of a broken kid. He's a lost soul, and his own flesh and blood has left him to die in the middle of the dusty Australian streets. In some ways, Pattinson in The Rover reminded me of Brad Pitt in 12 Monkeys. Not that the characters are very similar, because they couldn't be more different, but just in terms of the sort of role that, these hunky actors decided to choose. Now, make no mistake, The Rover is definitely Guy Pearce's movie. Pattinson's name is going to come first in all the headlines, but Pearce is the one calling the shots here. He's running the show, even if Pattinson's character likes to think that he's in control. But as good as Guy Pearce is, and he's always excellent, it was Pattinson who I left the theater talking about. This is a young actor who's fully aware of his public perception, who's eager to not let the Twilight series define him as an actor. He has greater ambitions than just being a pin-up poster boy and a matinee idol. Pattinson is not the sort of leading man that agencies build a lot of high-profile packages around. His name does not get batted around for every single blockbuster the way that I hear Tom Hardy or Michael Fassbender. Since retiring the role of Edward Cullen, Pattinson has made it a point to work with indie auteurs such as David Cronenberg twice, Werner Herzog, Anton Corbijn, and now David Michôd, whose Animal Kingdom made a splash back in 2010. Pattinson is also preparing to work with Olivier Assayas in Idol's Eye, which is going to pair him with Robert De Niro, as well as James Gray on The Lost City of Z, which also stars Benedict Cumberbatch. Now, these are not projects that are going to make Robert Pattinson the next A-list superstar who's in all the Marvel movies or whatever, and I don't think that that's what he really wants at this point, probably because he's already been in that position. What I saw last night was an artist surrendering himself to his craft, trusting his collaborators, acting without a safety net, made of visual effects. I've always seen Robert Pattinson as more of a celebrity than anything, but last night I saw him as a real actor for the first time. And as I was leaving the Rover's after party at the W Hotel in Westwood, I ran into him. He'd actually changed out of his sparkling blue suit, and he put on a much more comfortable black hoodie, and he was roving around the room, actually talking to people rather than just sitting in some roped-off VIP area like an untouchable, superstar. So anyways, I decided to introduce myself. I looked him square in the eye. I told him that he really impressed me, and it was an eye-opening performance from my point of view. He thanked me, we shook hands, I wished him luck on his journey, and from what I can tell, he doesn't really need it. He's already got his career figured out. So let's just hope that Hollywood accommodates him and doesn't try to turn him into something that he's not. This has been What's the Deal with Jeff Snyder. You can follow me on Twitter at @TheInSnyder, and thanks for reading TheWrap.com.
What's the deal with Jeff Snyder?